The Almighty says he can get me out of this one, but he's pretty sure you're fucked. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we're going to talk about 10 teams you need. Now, this is kind of a generalist video. I was thinking about it while I was doing my GAC recently, and I like to do these kind of more generalist videos sometimes just because it continues the discussion of what's still good and what isn't, because I feel like sometimes we latch onto things as players, as a community, as groups. We're like, oh man, okay, this team is still so good, and in reality it's not. And so hopefully this kind of thing will just you know, push the discourse a little bit. We're just going to talk about 10 teams that I've really been enjoying lately, that I think not only have I been enjoying it, I've consistently used. And I'll put out another video a little bit later this week talking about a couple of teams that are not as good, things that need a little bit of a boost now. But today we're going to be a little more positive and talk about things that are amazing. So let's go. Whoa, wait a minute. We're in the game? Whoa. We switched my face in the game. This is madness. Look at those teams. All right, so folks, sure, the Queen Amidala team with the new characters and the Gungans and the Galactic Legends, they're all great. They really are, truly. No shade on them. They're good teams, man. They really are, and they're not things I'm gonna tell you guys you need. I mean, go farm them for the raid or whatever. I mean, they're too new, right? Like. And honestly, who knows? Like, maybe Gungans are going to be fairly awful once their datacrons are gone. They are so complicated, so complex that it's tough for me and for most people to be even able to tell if they're going to be amazing or not. You can see Jar Jar is the leader, though, so that's scary. All right, probably my favorite team that, man, I hate it and I love it so much. It's so versatile, though, guys. Malicos and his Sith Empire team. Now, for a while, we were all trying to split this team apart. We were like, okay, Malicos with some crap, and then we'll just do like our old school Darth Revan team. And I mean, that kind of works. That's fine. But the true... It's like peanut butter and jelly, folks, except like the evil version of those with fear and doubt. You know, there's probably loathing somewhere in the mix. And this team is just so good because it takes out so many squads. Like, it doesn't... I guess there's a couple Galactic Legends it could probably take out, you know, that you just never see on defense. Like, say, the Eternal Emperor probably could do something against that, depending on how you played it. Jedi Master Luke, that's fine, but their goal is more just to take out some of the teams that are like, hey, I have all the turn meter, and I can do some crazy stuff. And they're just like, you know what? If you can crit us, then you're screwed. Like, we want you to crit us so that you get feared, and then you start doubting yourself, and you stop having cooldowns for and it's just a whole mess for your opponent. I mean, lately I've been really liking using it against like the General Grievous Step squad that has the really good datacron because they have unlimited turn meter kind of, but you just stop that eventually. You stap that. And it's just a really nice squad, guys. I mean, I know that Malicos is a very tough to get character in Conquest and everything, but I mean, he's a requirement for Leviathan. I think this is one of my favorite teams for offense, guys. And not only does it work in GAC, it's also a lot of good characters for Territory Wars, a lot of good characters for all the game modes, folks. It's a great squad. Another squad that I really like is Inquisition. I mean, you almost don't need to talk about Inquisition. Like, it's almost just dumb to discuss it in a way, because it is really good. Obviously, it's very expensive. You have to have 7 characters relict just to be able to use these 5. But I mean, if we're gonna make a list like this, they belong on it, right? I mean, they kill depending on what their datacron is, what the other datacrons are, whatever the meta is, they'll typically kill half of the galactic legends that are out there, and otherwise they'll kill half the really good squads. They do a lot of stuff. Yes, they can be susceptible to certain squads and counters depending on what you see and what you're facing, but this squad is the gift that keeps giving. It's amazing in conquest, amazing in territory battles. Like, there's just... I don't even know, guys. Like, what more is there to say about Inquisition? If you can get them, great. I understand the Chirotech price tag is high. Sometimes you can't get into a guild that is going to help you unlock Third Sister, but I do think that getting your roster to the point where you are Reva ready will probably get you into a guild that's at least running, getting like 20-ish shards, and it adds up. As you know, it's math. You'll eventually get there. And yeah, it's a good squad. Now, probably my favorite team lately, folks, has been Bo-Katan Mandalore, and lately I've been using Beskar Mando with them. Which, it was a question mark, right? When she first was released, there was this awesome datacron that really there was one for Beskar Mando that was like, oh, he should be with Dash. And that's fine. You have to adapt to the things in the meta and all of that. But and then she had a really over-the-top, broken, just ridiculous datacron of her own, which was fine as well. That's just how datacron cycles run. But the question mark was, will Beskar Mando eventually make his way onto the Bo-Katan team? And will Bo-Katan actually be any good once she gets her datacron taken away? Because Aphra, for instance, she is still pretty good, but she loses a lot. She lost so much when her datacron went away, unfortunately. And then for 4 months, we had a resurgence of Aphra dominance because she got her datacron back. Bo-Katan... yeah, she's diminished, for sure. The datacron is gone, but she is still crazy, man. She's killing Kenobi, depending on datacrons, right? This current second, no. But otherwise, I think she kills Kenobi somewhat consistently, at least. In a straight fight, or at least in GAC if she has her Omicrons, she's taking out, she's fighting, and she's a counter to the Gungans with their current crazy Kron. She counters Inquisition sometimes. She takes out all the stuff, guys. Lord Vader. I'd be interested to see how she would do against some of the other galactic legends that you never see on defense, like Jedi Master Luke, or say the Eternal Emperor. Supreme Leader Kylo, I know that she can beat him as well. She challenges him, man. She's really good. And the awesome thing about her is, first off, she's very farmable. CG has seen fit to give her a recurring event every month, and so once we finally have her permanently, it won't be that big of a difference from it just being a recurring monthly event. But then you also have already farmed her team, basically. Maybe you don't have Jedi Master Kenobi yet, I don't know, but if you have Kenobi, then you have Bo-Katan, like her OG self, farmed, and then to get Bo-Katan Mandalore, you have to her prerequisites are the rest of her team, which is not usually if you want to unlock Starkiller, for instance, you use Mara Jade with him and that's it. The other requirements are great. They fill all sorts of other teams. Wonderful. Starkiller, not a gripe about him, but he needs a different team than the one that you just farmed, as opposed to Bo-Katan just farms her team and then just completes it. It's just a wonderful thing, folks. I highly recommend this squad. I think it's going to be very strong for a long time. Mandalorians, they're making a movie about them. That they're going to be a thing for a long time, I think. CG's not going to just neglect them and ignore them, though the dark side Mandalorians, maybe we need to have another talk. So, General Skywalker, man, I don't know if there's another squad that I love more and hate more, because in GAC, they are a liability. They drop banners like crazy. In Territory Wars, same thing. in a lot of ways, unless you put them on defense. You put them on defense in GAC, sometimes they're really good, depending on the datacron, sometimes they're not, but here's the thing, folks. At the end of the day, they ramp really well still, and all the new squads have a million buffs. And so, if you like, there's a reason why people are like, oh yeah, if Gungans are really giving you a hassle, like maybe you'll lose to them, but there's always a shot that maybe General Skywalker can ramp up enough and just delete them because there's so many buffs out there, and buffs are in the air, and he's there to punish you for it. He also you can't get past the fact as well, folks. I mean, if you need a way to stop people from reviving, just take him as lead and then take other characters with him that aren't even synergistic with him, and everyone on his team just ignores revive. It's a wonderful thing. You get terrible banners, and this is potentially a team that's going to make it onto my list that needs like kind of a boost, but it's tough to use it on offense, but he still counters like a couple Galactic Legends here and there. He's still, in Conquest, he is actually a very strong character because he's able to, like, if you need kills, like Galactic Republic kills, you can just go have him kill like Nightsisters, and obviously they can't revive, and there's just certain things. It's a squad that's very unyielding about certain specific circumstances. It's just like, okay, well, if we can just ignore like this and this but negative thing, if we can engineer a situation where we can ignore those things, then yes, General Skywalker is top tier and amazing. And then if you have to care about banners, then you can get real sad. It's a squad that I just keep going back and forth on, folks. Admiral Raddus, I've been singing this squad's praises for a while. Was they really gonna say I've been singing my own praises for a while? It's probably true, but here's the thing, guys. Admiral Raddus, I think one of my favorite things lately have been the number of people who have come up to me and said, or come up to me digitally, it's the digital age, guys. But people who come up to me on Discord or whatever, and they say, hey, you've been talking about Adrad for a while. I finally decided to start putting some investment into him, and I can't believe how good he is. They're like, even though you said he was good, I didn't think he would be good. And people had people would, it's fun because I had that same experience, I guess, at the end of the day. Like, I never thought he was good. I never thought he was good. Never thought he was good. Oh my gosh, he is so good. He is so good. And he's so relevant because he kills Empire teams. Empire teams are everywhere. And he deletes them. Like, depending on datacrons and stuff, he kills Inquisition. He kills the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team. He kills the Iden team. He's great early game because you need profundity as early as you can anyways, so that you can be working on getting its shards. But then also, he's great even end game, guys. I use him somewhat consistently, at least, and I even use him in territory battles with Leia, so that we can because he doesn't need his leadership for the Spark of Rebellion thing to work, he deletes entire stacks of troopers, like troopers who have 5 stacks on them. If he can get the killing blow or Jin, then they just die forever. It's an amazing thing, guys, and it's a lot of fun. Baze is a lot of fun, but he's not required for anything, so no one has him worked on. But really good squad, folks. Really, just pure joy, and you won't regret it. Honestly, I guarantee it. Now, he's really good. Also, guys, half of the time, as long as there is not voluntary. What's the thing? I don't have the time to look it up either, guys. I got to get on a flight. But he's the in Conquest, the data disk that lets you that gives support characters a bonus, extra damage, basically, according to how much health they have, something like that. And now I'm just yammering, but he just deletes people so hard. He does his AoE, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think I had his ult. And in reality, I didn't have his ult yet. He was just ready to delete everyone because of whatever that data disk is called that I forgot the name of. Alright guys, Revan Jedi. Now, this is a team full of unlocks, isn't it? Hermit Yoda costs the, GET 1 or 2, whichever one it is. It's a tough farm to get him all the way up. Mace is the one that's kind of free, but he's also, I guess he is required for some stuff. He's really good. And then Jedi Cal is a legendary. Jedi Knight Luke is a legendary. Jedi Revan's a legendary. So it takes a while to get there. I realize it, because they all need different characters to help unlock them and everything. But once you get them, guys, I've said it before. That I've had different ranking videos of different different legendary characters, and Jedi Revan is just consistently like the best legendary character anyways. He just still does so many things that are so good. The only question mark, like he's a little bit squishy, but otherwise, man, he's the gift that keeps giving. Amazing. He is such a good lead. Such a strong lead even still, guys. And then just that they go together really well, guys. It's just they are, I don't know, they're like one step behind what I would say Malgus is. Malgus and the Jedi team, like, you almost don't need Jedi Master Luke these days, honestly. Unfortunately, I like him. He's good in Conquest, but these guys, they're the bee's knees, which I don't know why that's a good thing. But all right, Sir Malicos. This team is in Territory Wars. I think it's losing some ground. It seems like, from what other people have been telling me. I don't know for sure, but GAC, destroying things. Conquest, destroying things. And one of the things is they do a lot of different debuffs and a lot of different buffs, and so they're really good in Conquest feats. Not as good in territory battles, but this team has, I love it because CG has been adding so many UFUs to the game all the time. This team is going to continue to be really strong. And so I would say the biggest complaint is, if you want the team to run at full strength, it is 4 Omicrons in GAC, or in Territory Wars, it's 2, or if you want to add Starkiller in 3v3, then you need an absurd 7 if you want the full impact. Now, Starkiller doesn't need all 3 of his, but it's a very strong squad. Just deletes Rey. I've been really enjoying the team. Darth Traya, from the very start, she's been really good. She limits your opponent, and I remember reading her kit way back in the day and thinking, is there ever going to be a team that actually messes with her and like beats her? And even still, it's, especially now that they gave her Omicron and Savage is there to help. Like, talk about a team. This is like the dark side version of CLS. CLS has been this big, like, for a long time, CG kept adding new characters to the CLS team to make him really strong, like to boost his ability to beat other teams, etc., and to keep him relevant. They're like, oh man, okay, so you need some more, like R2-D2's not cutting it, here, have C-3PO, he's pretty good. And then after a little bit, they were like, here, have Chupio, like, and it was really nice. Traya feels the same way. Like, she was released at the same time as the Triumvirate, but then they gave us Savage, they gave us Talon, and then they gave us the Savage with his Omicron, and they gave us the Traya Omicron as well. And the team has stayed very relevant. Kills so much stuff. Really strong on defense. Like, usually requires a Galactic Legend or something approaching that at least. So, really good squad. Definitely worth investing in. Of course, it costs 2 Omicrons and a few Zetas, but one of those good foundational teams. Nightsisters keep coming up, folks, and this is one of those teams that I'm curious to see now that they've just announced Ahsoka and stuff. When I'm at the time of recording this, at least, they have not released any details of any other characters other than, we see the trooper, the Death Trooper, the whatever, it's not a Death Knight Trooper, I don't know, the weird zombie guys. They seem pretty good, I guess. I don't know if they're gonna be Nightsister tags, or if they're going to be for troopers, or I have no idea what that character is going to be. I bet it's just going to be a tank for whatever Morgan Elsbeth's team is going to be. But it does seem like Nightsister is going to get a little bit of a reinforcement here, boost from the Ahsoka releases, and this looks pretty good, man. This team, it kills Jabba, and it keeps finding different little niches to fit in this in the meta. It's really good. In Conquest, it's really strong. I think one of my favorite things about Nightsister is you can see all these relics here. You just don't need them. You don't need those relics. You need Relic 5 on Old Daka, and then get Marin to gear 12, get Zombie to gear 10, and then the rest are pretty optional. And they still do a crazy amount of damage and a crazy amount of work. They do so much in GAC. They do, especially early game and mid game, and then late game. They're pretty. They're niched. And then, but Conquest, I still use them all the time on my main account, on my middle account, on like all of the accounts. They're really strong. And you are doing yourself a disservice by not working on them. Finally, folks, we have CLS. Claus, as other people might say. Not like Santa Claus. But, here's... I want this team to get a boost, folks. I feel like every once in a while, I'm like, okay, I don't need this team. I don't need this team anymore. Let's just rip it down into its constituent parts. We'll have C-3PO go do Galactic Republic things, or maybe Resistance things. We'll have Han and Chewie go hang out with Dash. We'll have Chupio go do droid things. CLS can join the UFO pool. I mean, you can do that, and it can be kind of effective, but the thing that I keep finding, folks, is I still use this team a lot, even now, even on my 13 million account. It's still doing a lot of work. Could it use a little boost? Probably. It might be a little nice to have a couple reinforcements here. I think that would be good, but I do think that this team, as constructed, I mean, the fact that it creates so many exposes, and it makes it so that certain teams just can't even attack it, because Han and Chewie just alpha strike them. They hit first, and they hit hard enough, or they stun, and it disrupts enough that this team, like, as long as turn meter is still a viable method of winning, then this team will keep doing well. I think this team is kind of slipping. I wasn't ranking these. I wasn't saying like, oh, here's the top and here's the bottom. Though I do think CLS and Nightsister's kind of, and people are gonna hate me for saying this about Nightsisters especially, but they're slipping, folks. They're less and less useful. Conquest, they're still kind of god level. Everywhere else, they're slipping. Just give CLS an Omicron, man. That's all you gotta do. Give him an Omicron. It solved everything. So, that's my list, guys. Are there other teams that are better than these? Yes. Are there other teams that are more relevant than these? Probably. I mean, like Starkiller, there's a ton of other teams, honestly, that are good. But I do think that it's good to just single out specific squads, talk about their merits, talk about a couple things that maybe, maybe they could do a little bit better on. But I think this is a good list for now. 10 teams. I do think everyone should be working on trying to get these teams eventually. And I also, would love to hear what you guys think. What other characters do you think should be on this list? Would love to hear it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.